Hi, everyone. My name is Joe Devine, and I'm here to talk to you today at Professor Hamouda's request to talk about what is happening in Rhode Island in terms of data visualization in data jobs in general. First, let me introduce myself. I am a Rhode Island native. I've been out of the state for a couple of turns with jobs for a few years at a time, 3 or 5 years, but always keep coming back. My passion is creating computer science career pathways for our students, particularly for women and students of color. Our industry is severely underrepresented by folks of color, and for a population that's 50% or more women, we have about a quarter of a workforce that are women, and we're conferring less degrees on women now than that, so it's not growing. So, let me tell you a little bit about what I do. I own a business called Bridge Technical Talent. We just celebrated our 18th year. We're an IT staffing and consulting firm, and a lot of what we do involves data, involves other areas of IT as well, but everything's focused on IT. I'm also on sabbatical, if you will, right now for a couple of years, helping the Tech Collective make sure that the Tech Collective kind of gets on sound footing and plays the role in the state of Rhode Island that it really needs to play, both in terms of helping workers get the skills that they need, help companies get the workers that they need, and also to help build these computer science career pathways. Tech Collective has a great relationship with Rhode Island College. Your president, Dr. Frank Sanchez, is on our board, and we collaborate in many different ways, including working with industry on developing curriculum for the computer science group, which is growing as the two groups are combining. Professor Hamouda asked me to talk to you folks about what's happening in data. So let me tell you what we're doing with data at the Tech Collective. First of all, we're a membership organization, so we're kind of beholden to the companies that join us, that pay to be part of the Tech Collective. And part of our mission is to make sure that we listen closely to what they need. What are their needs? We have steering committees that are made up of our members, and these steering committees are made up of both the leaders in the particular space, in this case data, and some of the practitioners that work in every day with the technology. So in the case of our data steering committee, we have some directors of data groups. We have some folks that are data analysts and data visualization experts, but we also have some academics as well. We have a couple of folks that are in the college professor ranks, and that gives us a good insight into what's going on at the college level for whatever field it is. And we have these steering committees for data and for cybersecurity, for cloud computing, for UX, UI, and so on. So in the data world, we're trying to understand what are the roles in data. What is it? What's the organization chart, if you will, for a company that has data professionals? And where's that data work being done? So we recently had a presentation put together for our data steering committee from Bridge Technical Talent, which is the business that I own. And I'm going to walk you through that presentation so you can kind of understand, and I won't take as much time as we did that day, since I've been asked to keep this between 5 and 10 minutes. But I will try to kind of give you a high level view of what does the data employment landscape look like in Rhode Island. So if you excuse me for a second while I try to get this going, see if I can share this with you. All right, so you should be seeing my first screen. So the folks at Bridge put this presentation together for me, and 3 folks in particular I want to call out, and I appreciate the work they did in presenting to Tech Collective: Chris Hughes, Steve Bennett, and Chelsea Kalaluka, who are all members of Bridge Technical Talent. And they put this presentation together so that our steering committee would better understand the landscape of the data world. So you can look at some of the pathways in data and data management, and I'm not going to read any of these screens to you, so you don't have to worry about that. But you can see that there's lots of different roles for a data professional in our in the corporate world. In fact, data. First of all, like IT, IT has been making its way through, through all organizations. I would challenge you to name, any industry or any business that doesn't need information technology professionals helping them utilize their information better. And over the last 3 to 5 years, we've really seen a surge in the data profession. And we expect that surge to really continue into the future. So you folks as high school teachers, it's really incumbent on you, and I would encourage you to make sure that your students are aware of career pathways in data and what that can mean for folks in terms of their future, in terms of their financial stability and their joy in a job. I mean, it's not the kind of role where you're going to expect to only go into one type of company. All companies will be finding a need to analyze their data in order to help them make actionable decisions that will help them grow and compete in their industries. So in particular, what we want to talk about today is what are data analysts and business intelligence professionals doing? I know you're focusing in this class on data visualizations. So we're going to really talk more specifically about those roles. And as it turns out, those are the fastest growing roles. Data visualization tools like Power BI and Tableau and Click, are becoming ubiquitous. We see very large participation in Rhode Island in particularly the Power BI and Tableau markets. Many folks have on their own kind of identified, this is important for me. They're kind of seeing the trends at their companies and careers. And I would say that the people have kind of been ahead of the companies in terms of recognizing how important data visualization is going to be for their careers. But these folks are taking information from across their organizations and they're pulling it together and trying to bring data that maybe wasn't before, overlaid together, and trying to find trends and trying to find information that can lead to ideas for new revenue streams or better ways of creating cost savings or opening up new markets based on data that maybe wasn't looked at in the same way. If I'm sure many of you have worked in Excel and have created your fair share of pivot tables. And it's pretty interesting seeing how when you play with a pivot table and you just take a different slice and look at data a different way, sometimes it looks very different. Well, if you take the thought that using a data visualization tool like Power BI or Tableau, it's like putting Excel on steroids. And not only is it a lot more effective, but it's easier. It's in a lot of ways easier to use Tableau after a little bit of training than it is to use Excel. So these people that are doing this work are in high demand, and this is a quick slide talking about how we're expecting this industry to grow, and expecting that not only is it going to grow at a high clip, but it's also going to beat almost all other occupations. There's really not many other areas you could be getting into right now that have the same type of projections as data does. Cybersecurity might be one of them. Those are the two fields that we really recommend folks look at. So this is a quick pie chart I want to show you that we pulled together from some data that Rhode Island Commerce Corporation had given us, and it's a year old, but I doubt it's very different if we looked at it today, with the obvious exception that we're in the middle of COVID, and job demand overall, for the last 3 to 4 months has slowed and likely will be slowed until we really get a vaccine and get back into a post-pandemic era. But there was a lot of jobs. There was 852 postings, you can see, in Rhode Island in 1 year for data jobs. So we're really far outstripping. There's just not enough people coming into these fields. And again, I will stress, not enough women and not enough students of color coming into the fields. So let's see, some of the skills that are necessary. Just going to quickly touch on this. SQL is a major skill, but if you look at some of these other lines, ETL skills are really important. Python and R are really solid data scraping tools that get used. Most of the folks that come into this field are coming out of computer science or statistics. You can transition in, and the Tech Collective is working on helping folks kind of transition into the field as well. This slide here, kind of talking about what are some certifications, and the two I really want to stress to you in that first bullet here under the Microsoft Certified Solutions Associate. That's basically the Power BI certification. You know, they're learning Microsoft's tools, Excel and Power BI, and showing that they're proficient with those tools. And then Tableau over on the right is another one that's very important in high demand. I mentioned earlier that some of the employees, people are really identifying this as an area that they want to help enhance their career before their companies are asking them to. There's programs out there like PPL, the Providence Public Library, has had a data visualization program going for a couple of years now in partnership with the Tech Collective and Real Jobs for Rhode Island funding. And they've trained hundreds of people on using Tableau and preparing them to get certified. And most of those folks came not because their company sent them, but because they recognized as a intelligent person looking to improve their careers that this is an important skill that they should have, and they're going to do well with it. Most of them already are doing well with it. Folks outside of IT are also looking at this surge and this need for data professionals from all different fields. Data analysis in some companies is centralized in the IT function. Other times it's decentralized. So you wind up with data professionals in marketing and in the legal group or in operations, production control and so on. But we see folks that are that maybe have the functional knowledge that haven't been in data are taking data classes and adding the data analytics, the data visualization capabilities to their skill set, which might be very strong functionally, in their functional domain, and finding their ability to climb the ladder, the corporate ladder, very positive. Compensation levels for folks in this career field, you can see, are very good. Even the local entry level numbers are very positive. Folks coming out of college with a 4-year degree are almost guaranteed to be in the $55,000 range or up. And then there's really no top end here. People can make as much money as they want depending on what kind of company they want to go to and work at. So just a couple quick things to talk about why this is important for businesses and why it's going to be such a lucrative career for individuals. Companies that look at their data, that find a way to analyze their data quickly, that find a way to visualize it so that even the average person that doesn't understand statistics, that doesn't understand data analysis, can quickly get the picture, by looking at a data viz or a combination, a series of data visualizations that are pulled together. It really enables executives to make better decisions, right? If you have good data and you analyze it well and you can see where the trends are, then you can kind of see where you need to take your company. A couple of quick examples. This is a CVS example, and again, I'm not going to read this whole slide to you, but this is an example where CVS is taking a look at which of their retail operations are performing and which ones are not, and they're using data to kind of decide which ones are exceeding their KPIs and which ones are falling short. And they're going to invest in the stores that make the most sense, and the ones that are performing, and closing others, and kind of combining where necessary. Again, trying to save money and optimize their resources. We also have a Johnson & Johnson example, and this is a quote from one of the Johnson & Johnson professionals in Providence that's talking about how when they get, and the Johnson & Johnson group in Providence was established here. It was a new group. It wasn't a move. It was a group that was formed here in Rhode Island with the intention of going back to that conversation I mentioned a moment ago about centralizing or decentralizing data analysis. Johnson & Johnson owns many brands like Band-Aids and baby powder and all kinds of different things. And they had data, and they do still have data folks in each of those different groups. But they really wanted to build a skill set. They wanted to build a group with a real strong skill set around data analysis and data visualization. And they're located here in Providence. So these data folks go out to all of the different Johnson & Johnson groups, corporations, and they talk about how they can help with data. And it's funny when they go, sometimes there's some resistance because people a lot of times want to keep things close to themselves so they can do their own analysis. But once they see the kind of capabilities that the Providence Group has, they are leaned on heavily, and then they wind up really being the backbone of the decision making going forward for these different corporate groups and different companies within Johnson & Johnson. So just wanted to quickly show a couple of examples. I know I'm running kind of long, so let me, I won't be able to stop for Q&A since this is a video, but I do want to give you a couple of more ideas. I think, hopefully you've seen that the data in Rhode Island is showing that there is a skills gap. We need more data professionals. We need more folks that have Power BI and Tableau certifications. There's a strong need for that. You have a role to play. And, as a high school teacher, students look to you for, what are some of the opportunities in the real world? You're one of the biggest resources we have in communicating to the students the need for IT careers, computer science, data visualization. I think it's really important for you to understand that there is a big need for these skills out there, and that if you encourage your students to pursue an academic, the next step in college in that field, that there will be jobs for them when they come out, and that they will be able to provide for their families and have a lucrative career. I would also once more remind you to please also encourage your young female students and your students of color to pursue these careers. We do not have a diverse workforce. We need a diverse workforce, and the minority community needs roles. They need opportunities so that they can kind of change what's been happening for them, particularly in areas like Providence and Central Falls. We need to end the cycle, and getting a great job in a powerful career is probably the best way to do that. Well, hope you found this interesting. Professor Hamouda, thank you so much for the opportunity, and good luck in your training this summer. Thank you.